In a bustling town filled with the sounds of laughter and chatter, there stood a small diner named Sunnyside Eats. The diner had seen better days, with its slightly faded red and white checkered tablecloths and window boxes of vibrant flowers that seemed to brighten even the dreariest of days. The warm aroma of pancakes and fresh coffee wafted through the air, inviting locals to find their favorite seat. At the heart of this diner was a poor black waitress named Maria. With her bright smile and gentle demeanor, she welcomed each customer as if they were family. Despite her own struggles, she worked tirelessly, taking orders and serving meals with an unwavering dedication. Maria had a special way of making everyone feel at home, chatting with regulars and remembering their favorite dishes. Though she barely made enough to get by, Maria's kindness was limitless. She often shared a piece of pie with a lonely patron or offered a warm cup of coffee to someone in need. Her heart was open, filled with compassion for anyone who walked through the door. Everyone in town loved Maria, knowing that beneath her humble exterior lay an extraordinary spirit ready to help those around her. Little did she know, her kindness was about to lead to an unforgettable day filled with surprises. Just as the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the town, the quiet of Sunnyside Eats was broken by a loud rumble outside. 5 bikers entered the diner, their leather jackets adorned with patches that told stories of adventure and freedom. They looked weary, with dirt-smudged faces and unkempt hair, their eyes reflecting a mix of exhaustion and determination. The sound of their boots echoed on the diner's floor as they stepped inside, bringing an unexpected surge of energy into the cozy space. The smell of oil and leather mingled with the aroma of pancakes and coffee, creating a unique blend that both intrigued and startled the regulars. Maria glanced up from behind the counter, her curiosity piqued by their entrance. The bikers settled at a table near the window, their laughter filling the room like music. Despite their rough exterior, there was a camaraderie among them, a bond formed through shared experiences on the open road. As they shook off the weariness of travel, they exchanged jokes and stories, instantly brightening up the atmosphere in the diner. Maria watched them with a smile, sensing that these men were not just hungry for food but also for connection. Little did she know how their arrival would change everything in ways she could never imagine. As Maria watched the bikers settle in, she felt a familiar tug at her heartstrings. Their laughter echoed through the diner, but there was something deeper in their worn-out faces that resonated with her. They looked tired and hungry, and at that moment, Maria's mind raced with thoughts of her own struggles. She could see they didn't have much money, their clothes were faded and frayed, and they seemed to carry the weight of their journeys. With a gentle sigh, she made her decision. They need this, she thought, recalling how many times she had faced hard times herself. She grabbed a few plates and got to work. As she flipped pancakes and poured coffee, her heart swelled with kindness. It was more than just feeding them, it was an opportunity to show compassion and share something meaningful. When she approached their table with steaming plates piled high with food, their eyes lit up with surprise. "This is on me," Maria said cheerfully, her smile wide as she felt warmth spread through her. The bikers exchanged puzzled glances before breaking into thankful grins. Her act of generosity filled the diner not just with the aroma of fresh food but also with an atmosphere of connection and hope, one that would leave a lasting impact on everyone present. As Maria set the plates of pancakes and eggs in front of the bikers, their eyes widened in disbelief. "You really didn't have to do this," one of them, a tall guy with a scruffy beard, said while looking around at his friends. They all nodded in agreement, surprised by her kindness. The mood shifted from weariness to joy as they dug into the food, savoring every bite. "Wow, this is delicious," another biker exclaimed, his mouth full. They laughed and shared stories about the roads they had traveled. Maria couldn't help but join in the conversation, her heart warming as they shared tales of their adventures and mishaps on their bikes. They spoke of the breathtaking views and the friendships they forged along the way, forming a sense of camaraderie that filled the diner with laughter. One biker leaned back in his chair after finishing his meal and said, "You've got a good heart, lady. We know what it's like to struggle, and this means a lot to us." Maria smiled, feeling a bond grow between them, fueled by mutual respect and understanding. As they left the diner, the bikers expressed their gratitude once more, promising to return someday. In that short time together, they had connected in a way that transcended their differences, thanks to Maria's generous spirit. As the meal came to an end, the bikers exchanged satisfied glances, their bellies full and their hearts light. They rose from their table, and one of the men, the tall one with the scruffy beard, walked over to Maria at the counter. "Thank you for everything. You really made our day," he said, genuine warmth in his voice. Maria beamed with joy, her heart swelling at their words. The group gathered close, each sharing their appreciation. "We've met a lot of people on our journeys," another biker added, "but your kindness is something we won't forget." They promised her they would return someday, not just for a meal but to show their gratitude in some way. As they walked toward the door, laughter filled the diner once more. Maria watched them leave, feeling a sense of fulfillment that warmed her spirit. They climbed onto their motorcycles and revved the engines as a symphony of sound filled the air. Just before taking off, they turned back and waved enthusiastically, smiles wide on their faces. "See you soon," they shouted in unison before speeding away down the road. The sight left Maria with a bright smile that lingered long after they had disappeared from view. She knew that this encounter was special, not just for her but for all involved, and it had created a connection that would last far beyond that evening. Word of Maria's generosity spread like wildfire throughout the biker community. As soon as the 5 bikers hit the road, they couldn't stop talking about the amazing waitress who had fed them without asking for anything in return. They shared their experience with fellow riders at gas stations, roadside diners, and even online forums dedicated to biking adventures. Soon, stories began to circulate, each one adding to the legend of the kind waitress at Sunnyside Eats. Bikers from nearby towns heard about Maria's selfless act, and admiration for her grew. Riders started saying things like, "If you're ever near that diner, you have to meet her." The camaraderie of the biker community meant that kindness was valued highly, and Maria's actions resonated deeply with many who understood the struggles of life on the road. Within days, her small act had transformed into a symbol of generosity and respect, inspiring bikers everywhere to pay it forward. The next day, as word continued to spread, anticipation brewed among local riders. Many couldn't wait to visit Maria and thank her in person. Unbeknownst to her, a wave of support and gratitude was starting to build, one that would soon turn into an unforgettable show of appreciation that would leave Maria truly amazed. The next day, the peaceful ambience of the town was suddenly interrupted by the thunderous roar of motorcycle engines. It was a sight that left everyone in awe. Nearly 500 Hells Angels arrived at Sunnyside Eats, their leather jackets and colorful patches creating a vibrant display against the backdrop of the diner. The moment they rolled into town, heads turned, and whispers spread like wildfire. As they parked their bikes in tight formation, laughter and camaraderie filled the air. Each member of this legendary group exuded a sense of brotherhood and strength, their presence creating a buzz that echoed throughout the streets. Locals paused what they were doing, curious about this unexpected gathering. Children pointed excitedly while adults exchanged amazed glances. Maria was behind the counter when she noticed the influx of bikers. Her heart raced as she recognized the iconic insignia of the Hells Angels on their jackets. She felt both nervous and exhilarated, this movement felt monumental. As the bikers entered the diner, they took off their helmets, revealing faces worn by time on the road yet brimming with excitement. Numerous voices called out Maria's name, expressing gratitude for her kindness toward their fellow riders just a day before. The diner was transformed into a beautiful celebration of support for her, and Maria could hardly believe what was happening. As the Hells Angels filled the diner, it quickly became clear that their visit was about more than just food. They gathered around Maria, who stood behind the counter, her heart racing with excitement and disbelief. Their smiles were wide, but their eyes held a serious appreciation for what she had done. One of the bikers, a burly man with a thick beard adorned with silver streaks, stepped forward. "We're not just here to eat," he said, his voice steady and warm. "We came to thank you for your generosity. You fed our brothers when they really needed it." The others nodded in agreement, their camaraderie evident as they crowded together. Amidst laughter and cheers, they explained how her kindness had inspired them to spread the message of goodwill throughout their community. They wanted to reward her for her selflessness and decided to take up a collection among themselves. Within moments, they presented Maria with an envelope filled with cash along with heartfelt notes expressing their gratitude. "This is just a small token of our appreciation," another biker added. "You have a big heart, and we want to make sure you know just how much you mean to us." Maria felt tears of joy welling up in her eyes as she realized how one simple act of kindness had created such a powerful ripple effect of support and love from this unexpected family of bikers. The atmosphere in Sunnyside Eats buzzed with excitement and laughter as the Hells Angels filled the diner, transforming it into a lively celebration. Bikers crowded around the tables, sharing stories of their adventures on the open road, their voices overlapping in a joyful chorus. The sound of clinking glasses and hearty laughter created a warm symphony that wrapped around Maria like a comforting embrace. Maria darted from table to table, her hands full of steaming plates and mugs of coffee. With every smile exchanged and thanks given, she felt her heart swell with happiness. The bikers relished the meal she had prepared, savoring each bite as they complimented the food. "You've outdone yourself, Maria," shouted one biker with a grin, while another added, "This is better than any restaurant." As she listened to their stories, Maria's eyes sparkled with joy. She felt overwhelmed by the sense of community that filled the diner. These once strangers had turned into friends, united by a bond formed through her simple act of kindness. In that moment, surrounded by laughter and friendship, Maria realized how deeply her small gesture had resonated with them. She couldn't help but smile, feeling gratitude wash over her as she watched her diner become a place of celebration, connection, and love, a true testament to the power of generosity. Maria stood behind the counter, watching the lively scene unfold around her, overwhelmed by the joy and gratitude that filled Sunnyside Eats. She realized that her simple act of kindness had created a ripple effect, touching not just the bikers' lives but also transforming her own. In that moment, she understood how one gesture could inspire so many. The diner had become a hub of connection and community, where laughter and stories flowed freely. Through her selflessness, Maria had showcased the true power of generosity. The warmth she shared resonated deeply with the Hells Angels and other patrons who now saw her as more than just a waitress. She was a beacon of hope and compassion. Word of her kindness spread beyond the biker community, reaching others in town who were inspired to pay it forward in their own lives. People began visiting Sunnyside Eats not only for good food but also to experience the sense of belonging that Maria had nurtured. Her diner was no longer just a place to eat, it was a symbol of love and support. As Maria reflected on everything that had happened, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. She understood that while life could be challenging, simple acts of kindness could spark joy and create lasting connections. Her heart swelled with pride, knowing she had made an impact on so many lives, including her own. The story of Maria and her diner, Sunnyside Eats, beautifully illustrates the power of compassion and the importance of community support. A simple act of kindness, feeding 5 hungry bikers, sparked a wave of gratitude that transformed not only the lives of those involved but also the entire town. Maria's generosity resonated deeply, inspiring others to open their hearts and give back in their own ways. As the Hells Angels turned Maria's diner into a lively celebration, they demonstrated how one person's selflessness can create connections that transcend differences and foster a sense of belonging. The laughter and joy shared within those walls became a reminder that kindness can bring people together, no matter their backgrounds. This heartwarming tale encourages us all to reflect on our own actions and consider how small gestures can lead to significant change. In a world that often feels divided, Maria's story serves as a beacon of hope, reminding us that compassion has the power to uplift and unite communities. It challenges us to be more mindful of others' struggles and to reach out with kindness whenever we can. Ultimately, Maria's experience teaches us that by nurturing a spirit of generosity, we can create a ripple effect of love and support that touches countless lives.